Hello again everyone, welcome to Trends on Tuesday. As mentioned last week, we'll take a look this week at what I bought at the Chilliwack Model Railway Show. Didn't buy a lot, but I'm very pleased with what I got. We'll take a look at that, and then I've got at least one or two, maybe three updates on the layout itself, and a question for you as we get going. So, as this CN grain train makes its way to the docks at Vancouver here, we'll head off and take a look at what I got. It's kind of significant that I mentioned that train was headed to the Vancouver docks. Operations at the docks recently have left the yard, and the elevators, everything is completely empty except for the switcher. Nothing to do. Well, we'll use the space to take a look at what I got at Chilliwack. Okay, first up, my first one of these particular Tryon coaches. They have the basics of the colour, but they're a little bit different, as I'll show you with a comparison here of the normal blood and custard ones, as we call them, maroon and cream. These ones came out of a starter set, I believe. There's no lettering on them, but they're fine for what they were. This one needs some cleaning, a little bit of adjustment on the couplers. They're a little bent. Now these came in two different types. Straight on the ends or curved on the ends, and this is my first curved one. Anyway, very happy to have that, and that cost me $10, which would be about £7, I guess, so not bad. The next one that caught my eye was this one. Now this is my second one of these. Having gone 60 odd years without one, I now have two. This one was only $15, and it's in really nice shape actually. It's a little dirty, again it needs a bit of clean-up work, but decals are all in place. Paint's pretty good. There's a little flaking along here, but generally very good. It's got the original fuel tank on it, which is nice because many of these do not have that fuel tank that you can find second-hand, and it runs really nicely. So again, happy with that. The price I paid on this was about a third of the price I paid for one without a fuel tank in the UK. This was the next one. I can't remember what I paid for that, $10 or $15 perhaps. This is my second of this series of models. This is something that Tryon made for the North American market. It has the North American horn hook couplers on there. Quite an adaptation of the original Tryon coupler mount for that. Anyway, this one's in Santa Fe, and I think the other one I got is in Milwaukee Road. Although it might not be. Can't really remember. Anyway, my second one of those. Happy with that. This is going to be a little difficult to see, being in the plastic bag and the light reflecting off of it, but this is a set of handrails for GP38, and they're in yellow. It was a complete set and only $2. I needed a set of yellow end handrails that go across the back of the loco, and I thought this might do. When I got it home, unfortunately it won't fit the loco. However, I've already used parts out of this, as we'll see a little further along. Anyway, $2. I believe it's an Athearn product, number 46110. GP38-2, San Francisco yellow. Not San Francisco, Santa Fe. Where did I come up with that? And for $5 I came across this Rick's Products Modern Highway Divider. There's a picture of it through the shiny plastic. Oh, there we go. And there's the products. They are shaped just like the concrete road dividers that we have on the highways here, so I'm going to find a use for those. Now, there was one stall, one vendor had a sign up saying 1982 prices. So he had KD couplers, quite a few KD couplers. This pack here is a number 23 and it's priced at $5.05. The one at the back, I'm not sure the number on it, 35 I think, and it's priced at $4.95. Those are not 1982 prices, and I didn't pay those prices. He was right, he had 1982 prices. $2 a pack. I bought 10 packs, all different, well mostly different, but included in there was a number 19, which is the NEM KD coupling, the number 19 long. There are 3 I think with NEM couplers on. Anyway, these fit my MHA wagons, British wagons. Now this particular one was in a plastic bag. The others were just as you see, but this was in a plastic bag, and when I got it home, noticed that the bottom was open, and I thought, oh, somebody's taken the couplers out of it, and I probably paid $2 for an empty bag, or at least a bag with not much in it. But to my surprise, there were 4 little packs, 4 of knuckle springs in there, and instead of 2 pair of couplers, there were 7 pairs of couplers in that bag. So I really got a good deal. I did notice one of the other packs that it had also been opened from the bottom, and 2 of the couplers were missing. But anyway, I came out on top, I think, on that one. Now these next 3 go together. They look like either Great Western or Pullman coaches. They are Mark IIs, and I don't know anything about these particular models. So if anybody can enlighten me as to what these are, I'd be most grateful. This first one has the name the Green Knight. Now, being Mark IIs, they are not original Pullmans, but they may be something like West Coast Express or one of the rail tour companies. These are beautiful models with curtains, tables, corridors on the other side. Absolutely beautiful. The Green Knight, the Red Knight, and Pendragon for the guards. Again, I paid $10 or about £7 each for those. They're Hornby, and they have what I call the pizza cutter wheels on, sharp flanges. They were all out of gauge and they wouldn't stay on the track at all. They were so out of gauge they actually fell between the tracks. But I fixed that up and they run reasonably well. But those pizza cutter wheels, they will find any imperfection in the track or through a turnout set of points, and they'll climb up over it and derail. So hopefully on my next trip to the UK I can get some Dapol wheels which have much better flanges on them, and I can replace them on these coaches. Anyway, that was a very nice buy. They are gorgeous. No boxes, but in very nice shape. The Green Knight, the Red Knight, and Pendragon. If anybody knows anything about them, please let me know. Now this, I think, was my bargain of the day. This loco was in this plastic bag, hard to see. A little label up here. It says, "Not work, $9.99. Well, this is the loco that ended up with the yellow handrails. There's one over here on this side, and there's the one on the back. Yellow handrails. They can be painted. Anyway, not work. It's an Athearn engine, and I thought, well, Athearn engines are pretty easy to get going. If there's the slightest thing wrong with them, they're usually easy to fix. So $10. And the same vendor had this in a plastic bag, and that was $8.98 or something. So I picked the two of those up and I said to him, how about $15 for the pair? And he said, yeah, sure. So $15 for the pair. I've got my first HAA wagon. I'll be needing about 30 of those, I think. And I got this beautiful Athearn GP38-2. 9605 in CN is the number on here, and 9605 CN was a number on a GP40-2 with a wide cap. But underneath the number there's the lettering IC for Illinois Central, one of the CN subsidiaries. And I checked in my books, and yep, 9605 IC is a GP38-2. So the number is all correct, everything is about it is correct, and it is in the very latest paint scheme. And the model's in great shape. There is one little piece missing, and I have spares, other than the handrails. Otherwise it's in good shape. And when I put it on the track to see it not work, I turned the power on and away it went. Just fine. No problem. I've given it a clean, a lubrication,
and I've tested it and it runs beautifully, absolutely beautifully. So, bargain of the day. And I think that concludes what I bought that day. Oh no, not quite, not quite. We've got a couple of other items. Hold on. As many of you know, I am a model builder, particularly 172nd, 176th military models and aircraft. And these are two that I built way back when I was a child. They're both in pretty rough shape. And lo and behold, I came across another one. I believe these are reasonably rare to find these in this shape. Everything appears to be there in the box. $10 for that one. I also built back in the early 1970s, or early to mid 1970s, I built this one, the Sam-2 missile, Russian surface-to-air missile. And again, I understand that that is quite a rare kit. And again, I paid $10 for this one. This will be my second one of these. And the first one, I just got it all finished, all painted up nice in this sand color. Looked real good, and I loaned it back to the hobby shop here in town to display in the window and hopefully spur some sales for them. And there was a fire in the building, not actually in the hobby shop, but in the building that it was in, and my poor model suffered heavy smoke damage, which I've never attempted to clean off because it looks like weathering. Perhaps we'll have a look at that one day. Anyway, that does conclude what I bought at the show. But that's not the end of the day. On that day, the Chilliwack show day, Ryan met up with a friend of his. And that friend gave Ryan 3 or 4 boxes. Boxes like that of railway stuff. And this is some stuff that Ryan didn't want. So Ryan gave it to me. There's too much to look at in there right now. But you can let me know if you'd like to see that in detail. Okay, that concludes the Chilliwack show for 2025. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that Trains on Tuesday. A look at, a brief look at what I bought at the show, and now I've got to hurry up and clean up at the docks there because they're waiting for the shipment of grain. Got to get that in there and get the docks moving again. So, take care everyone, and see you again another time for Trains on Tuesday. Bye for now.